up on this holiday edition of Cash Rendezvous.
Santa's coming. We'll help you get to know him before you let him in.
I'll show you what's coming soon from a galaxy far, far away.
We'll show you why one 17-year-old girl says she's stronger than a bullet.
I'll show you why some people say Old Maine is undefeated in winter sports.
All that and more, this is Cash Rendezvous.
The holiday season is in full swing in the Valley and in our studio. Welcome to this holiday edition of Cash Rendezvous. I'm Ariana Likens.
And I'm Kendall Douglas. Our cozy set is decorated for Christmas and ready for Santa, who happens to be in our studio today.
Ho, ho, ho.
Santa, what a pleasure to have you today.
You know, it is a pleasure to be here, but I actually like to think of myself more as one of Santa's helpers. Now, I may not actually be fat, and this beard may not be real, but Santa didn't always have those things either.
And hopes that Santa
Stories of Santa Claus like this
full of joy
began in 200 AD. He was known as Saint Nicholas. He gave everything he had to help others. Saint Nicholas died December 6th. Europeans honored him during the month. In the late 1700s, America got its first look at the honored saint.
Happy Christmas to all.
Clement Clark Moore wrote "'Twas the night before Christmas" for his kids. Santa used to wear saint robes. Santa wears a red coat like this and a red hat like this. Not long after, we gained our modern Santa. He started appearing in parades, shopping malls, and movies. Later interpretations gave us the Santa we know and love today.
Santa Claus was awesome. He gave us most of our presents, and we would always wake up in the morning, Christmas morning, and then go and see what he brought us.
What do you want for Christmas, little boy?
He has lists,
Beautiful.
knows several languages, can dance, sing, and loves giving gifts. But there are some Santa stories that have gone black coal, from Christmas stealers to identity thieves. But those don't stop us from celebrating Santa. You can be an adult and still love Santa,
Christmas was more about love and family.
or a child who believes. You know, now that I know even more about Santa, I think I love him even more.
Well, thanks again for visiting our set today, Emily. And say hi to Rudolph for me.
I will.
Stay warm out there. And Adam Larson is about to join us to tell us about his rocky experience sledding down Old Main Hill.
You know, Old Maine is pretty fun. You gotta have your gloves and your hat and everything to go because it can be pretty dangerous but pretty fun as long as you're careful. I'll show you what happens to people that aren't.
Old Maine seems like a safe place to have some winter fun, but some thrill seekers come out with injuries, like the cut on this guy's face. Sledding, snowboarding, and skiing down Old Maine are age-old traditions for Aggies, but don't think that Old Maine won't claim you as a victim if you aren't careful. One student says he enjoys all the people crashing on the hill.
Honestly, I love seeing all the wipeout videos. It's pretty funny just to see. It's always Old Maine beating the USU students.
Wipeouts like this happen often, and some students post these videos on social media.
Skiing and sledding down Old Maine can be fun, but also kind of dangerous, which is why you might want to be careful next time you hit the slope.
One student thinks the university should let people know the dangers of going down Old Maine.
They should put out signs that say, sled at your own risk, because this is like an age-old tradition for campus students and people who live in Logan.
You might think you can best Old Maine, but as students say,
Old Maine is undefeated.
Adam, that looks pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it can be pretty dangerous if you're not careful. So if you're going out, make sure that you're not trying to go down the hills too fast or doing something stupid, because as you can see, you can get pretty hurt if you're not careful.
Yeah, you sure can.
Well, moving on, you may have heard about dogs being used for therapy, but what about horses? Shay Densley shows us how our equine friends are helping veterans.
Do I have even weight on both of my seat bones?
They are quiet and focused. These veterans are riding horses as part of Utah State Veteran Adaptive Riding Program. They'll serve the entire Intermountain West.
We are embracing the value of the horse-human partnership, and that value brings therapeutic benefit for veterans who participate.
USU received a $156,000 grant to serve 56 veterans in the region with post-traumatic stress, brain injuries, and other conditions.
Here in the Equine Education Center, veterans teach other veterans how to ride horses, with the hope that the experience can help them socially.
Good.
Smith says it's easy for veterans to become isolated, and the riding program lets them interact with other veterans and be with the horse that doesn't judge them.
People are very kind and they say thank you for your service, which is great. But sometimes you want to go a little bit deeper than that and you want to connect more. And so I think this program offers a way to connect with other veterans and with the horses.
Good. So, when we change direction...
Once these veterans learn to ride a horse, they'll mentor others who join the program.
Shay Densley, Cash Rendezvous.
Utah State hopes to expand the Veteran Adaptive Riding Program over the next few years.
You may recognize the girl on the screen behind me from a couple years ago. She was shot in the head and left for dead in 2017. I spent some time with her in our Stronger Than a Bullet series to talk about what happened that day. Stepping closer.
You doing okay?
Yep. Desiree Turner and her mother pass a place Desiree describes as
just a darkened area, place I like to avoid.
Because
this is where it all happened. It's where I became broken.
Looking out at the canal, Desiree says it was a fun hangout spot, but it all changed on February 16th, 2017. Desiree thought she was just meeting up with two boys from school to hang out, Jason Decker and Coulter Peterson.
I had no idea they wanted to shoot me, kill me.
One of the boys, Jason, said he had lost his ring and asked her for help to find it.
So I turned around and walked back and helped search for it. That's all I remember of that day.
Because after that, Coulter shot her in the back of the head and left her for dead, lying in the bottom of the canal. A family friend found Desiree 8 hours after the shooting, still alive.
I remember being in my dad's arms. He's like, Des, you're okay. You're in the hospital, but you've been shot, but you're okay.
This white circle is the bullet. It's lodged into her brain, damaging the left side functions of her body. Among those, damage to her left side internal organs and her eyesight. Like you right now, neither eye can see to the left. A year later, Jason and Coulter were sentenced to 15 years to life.
I don't hate them. I hate their action.
And even after all the pain they caused Desiree, she says,
we were friends. We might be able to be friends again eventually.
Coming up after the break is the final part of this series. We'll share with you Desiree's goals and her future plans.
Just want everybody to keep praying for snow.
Find out what some locals are doing while they are waiting for ski resorts to open.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
These studio lights are making me melt.
Well, welcome back to our cozy set. I hope that you haven't melted either. Well, in the last part of the Stronger Than a Bullet series, Desiree shares how she managed to get through being set back 2 years in school and her future goals.
You're going second, Caden's going first.
In Mr. Rigby's government class is Desiree Turner, high school senior.
I've worked my butt off to try to graduate.
Listen up for a sec.
She was set back 2 years in school after being shot in the head.
Before the brain injury, I was a A student.
But with the injury came challenges.
I forgot how to do basic math. Numbers are so confusing for me.
Are there any other questions?
But that didn't stop her.
I don't want the stupid certificate of completion. That just means that I just sat through school. That doesn't mean anything to me. That could also make us the #1 leading country.
She interacts with classmates she caught up with after 2 years.
I've been at ground zero, maybe even negative. And I'm up. I'm gonna graduate.
Your 2019 homecoming queen, Desiree Turner.
Along with challenges at school came some high points, and Desiree says being crowned homecoming queen was one of them. Months later, the stands are filled with snow, not screaming fans. But through all the autumn cheers, she had a nagging thought.
Is it really for me as a person, or is it a pity on I have an injury?
But fellow students told her they voted for her for homecoming queen for her, and Desiree says it made her feel loved.
Thank you. I am awesome. I'm glad you see that too.
Desiree says she wants to go on a service mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. After that, she wants to come here and study journalism at Utah State to learn the skills to write an autobiography.
Christmas is around the corner, and some families are starting to pick out their trees. Austin Elder shows you what the experts say to help yours last longer.
That's my favorite.
Some Christmas tree shoppers here say they don't just buy a tree based off its size, but mostly the smell.
Why don't you bring it over and we'll just load it right in your truck.
For the past 25 years, the Merrill family has been selling Christmas trees in northern Utah.
Alrighty, just want to go pay her in the office. Okay. Thank you.
At their tree lot, you'll see giant toy soldiers.
Oh, hi, puppy.
A 160-pound dog named Bear.
We feed him well. Took me about a year to teach him not to lick, because a lot of little kids would run right up to him and he'd just lick him with that 11-inch tongue he's got.
And a giant red double-decker bus. All things the Merrill family added to their lot to add to the Christmas cheer.
Putting smiles on people's faces. That's my way of giving back.
Here in our house, we like to get real Christmas trees. So I asked the folks over at the tree farm, how do you know if the tree will last until Christmas or not? So what they said is if there's no brown needles, then you should be just fine.
Thank you guys. If you have real high temperatures in your house or a lot of air drafts, it can dry it out faster. So again, just keep the eye on the water.
That was cut on Monday.
The Merrill family says they have about 3,000 trees to sell.
All right. Little red pickup.
And hope to spread the Christmas cheer to as many families as they can.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas.
Austin Elder, Cash Rendezvous.
After the Christmas season, you can find several tree drop-off stations around the valley.
Resorts all over Utah have started opening up for the season. Cash Rendezvous' McKay Jensen shows us a local ski area's plans.
People in the valley are getting their season passes in preparation for resorts like Beaver Mountain to open.
We don't make snow, so we wait for the good snow to come. We like to have enough snow that it's safe for our guests.
Seeholzer says anyone can ski down the resort before it opens if they are willing to hike up. For those who aren't wanting to climb up a mountain, there is a more local option, street snowboarding.
I have to get an hour of snowboarding in or something like that, or I get stir crazy. And this is just like a quick 1-2 hour outlet, build something really quick.
Caldwell says he loves street snowboarding because it provokes creativity.
So my favorite part about street snowboarding, it's like
constructing Legos. You just, I don't know, you see something, you want to make it, and you just do it.
Caldwell says with a shovel and some snow, you can turn almost any location, including this amphitheater, into a place to snowboard. Even the more experienced street snowboarders make mistakes, like this one. Other times, they hit the feature just how they intended.
Whether you're at a resort or on the streets, it's always more safe to wear your helmet.
Here is a time I wish I was wearing a helmet. McKay Jensen, ATV News.
If you want to get involved with the USU Snowboard Club, you can find the link on our Facebook page. And guys, all this talk about getting hungry, all this talk about snowboarding and exercising is making me hungry.
Yeah, and so you're really lucky today, Anna, because Caden Anderson is here in our studio to tell us about a special treat.
That's right, Kendall. I'm going to take you guys inside the Family Anderson kitchen to show you how a popular Christmas tree is made.
So we've got a pound of raw Spanish peanuts, and I use the ones with the brown paper on them still got the paper on them. We need 2 tablespoons of butter, and I use salted butter. So we'll go ahead and just soften that butter up, 2 tablespoons of butter in there. We'll go 20 seconds. And to the butter, I add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And on the vanilla, I really like this Nelson Massey pure vanilla bean paste. This stuff, you can dip your finger in it and eat it, and it tastes good. So we need 1 cup of Carol syrup. I use Carol because that's what I've always used, and that's what Grandma said to use. We got our water, sugar, Carol, peanuts, baking soda, 2 tablespoons of butter, teaspoon of vanilla, and that is it. I'm going to go ahead and prep this pan real quick while we're here. This is the pan I'm going to pour the peanut brittle into when it's ready. The other thing that I like to do is use a very heavy pan. This is an Emile Henry Dutch oven. It is a clay Dutch oven. I found that the clay pot works the best for me. We start out by, we're going to boil the water. You want to add the sugar and the Carol syrup. So we got the 2 cups of sugar and 1 cup of Carol syrup. The sugar's got to come up and cook too. The instructions say 230. We're going to come up to 221. There we go, 222 degrees. We're going to go ahead and add our raw peanuts to that. And the temperature is going to drop substantially. Now those peanuts are going to suck the heat right out of that stuff. And then we got to bring it up to our other temperature, which was 281 degrees. Here goes the baking soda, vanilla butter, and here you want to stir it until you start to see a little bit of a color change. Get that brittle look. The longer you cook it, the darker the butter cooks. And I'm just going to make us pour down the middle here. And be careful with your hands because that stuff's screaming hot. I'll have 1 bite. Not too bad.
The peanut brittle recipe is over 80 years old, and I brought some today for you guys to try. I'm really excited.
Oh, yes. I can't wait to try it and have a little bite.
This looks really, really good.
I'm going to have some more. Dig in after the break.
Perfect.
Put these sticks on your feet and sliding down a mountain with frozen snowflakes on it is pretty funky, but it's pretty awesome too.
Coming up, we'll show you why these people like to play in the snow.
Just like everything else, you know, everybody opts for convenience now.
And later, we'll look into why it is so hard to find a manual vehicle.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back to our special Christmas edition of Cash Rendezvous.
Nick Porath joins us here in the studio to tell us all about the hype behind the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm rocking my Star Wars t-shirt, and I'm really, really stoked for this one. There's a lot of hype behind this movie. I'm excited, and I'm not the only one.
Star Wars fans are plotting a course to theaters, fighting it out for tickets to see the final movie in the saga.
I hope they take this new movie into a direction that like everyone can enjoy.
I think it's going to be really fun to see it all wrapped up because it's been like generations on generations building, so it's going to be a big deal.
If you're one of the fans that just can't wait for new Star Wars, there's one TV show that just might hold you over. And if this Lucasfilm series can't do it for you, Episode 9 will be in theaters on December 20th.
People have been trying to get tickets for months. I don't know, it's super exciting. The final Star Wars is a big deal.
Theater employees say they're getting prepared.
I love busy season in general. It's just like non-stop and just go, 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 go.
For the past couple of months, it's been really dead here, so I'm excited to work really hard and really just watch the last Star Wars movie.
Yes, as the release date gets closer, fans are leaping to see it.
I want to see some Star Wars. I want to see some space wizards fighting with their laser swords.
I'm just excited to see how it's gonna all just like end, really.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really stoked to go see that when it comes out.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to go see it.
Yeah, my husband's a big Star Wars fan, so I know that I'll be in the theaters with him.
Well, you definitely won't want to miss this one. It's the end of the franchise. And ski resorts are opening in Utah, and I talked to some people to ask them why they go up to the mountains to ski. Whether it's doing backflips or getting off the main trails, skiers and snowboarders say they go to the mountains to escape the world and clear their minds.
I've had so many moments where I've been working on something and I'm not thinking about it while I'm boarding. But then just like I'll take a turn around at a tree and then all of a sudden like it'll pop into my head and the answer will be there too.
LaPlante told me about a Harvard psychologist who describes this state of mind as unfocus.
Pretty much everybody who skis or snowboards understands. You're not thinking about your next turn. You're not trying to settle anything or solve any problems. It gives me this period of time where I don't really have to worry about anything or think about anything.
There's nothing else like it. Putting these sticks on your feet and sliding down a mountain with frozen snowflakes on it is pretty funky, but it's pretty awesome too.
Right behind me, you can see these jumps on Old Maine Hill. Now wherever there's a hill and some snow, people are going to find a way to ski it.
We need to be connected to the outdoors. We need to be in fresh air. We need to be in sunlight. We need periods of time where we're unstressed.
And local resorts such as Cherry Peak and Beaver Mountain aren't open just yet, but Cherry Peak has an opening date scheduled for December 13th, which is next Friday, and Beaver Mountain is still teasing us skiers on social media, not having an official opening date, but they still let people hike to go and ski the Beav.
If you want a stick shift vehicle, buying a new one may be harder than you think. Brandon Dean shows us why manual transmission vehicles are disappearing and how people feel about it.
Cars with 3 pedals accounted for only 1.2% of all new vehicles that were sold in 2019, according to a study done by Edmunds.com. And companies like Lamborghini and Ferrari don't make them anymore.
It's a nice color. On a brand new car, you know, there's only a couple models that they actually make with it anymore, but more often than not, if you have a customer looking for one, you have to special order it.
If you are looking for a new stick shift vehicle, chances are it will be a sports car like this Toyota GT86 or a bottom-of-the-line economy car with manual everything.
I feel like sometimes like the manual car is a cheaper car, and so I feel like students, like college students, sometimes have it because that's all they can afford.
Driving a manual used to be the better option. You had more gears to choose from, so you could get better gas mileage, you would be able to shift faster than the early automatics, and they were cheaper to buy. With improvements to technology though, it is now opposite.
Take this 2018 Ford F-150 for example. It now comes with a 10-speed automatic transmission, which means it will always be in the most economical gear for your driving conditions. And I can't imagine having to manually shift through all those gears. So why do people still love and buy stick shift vehicles?
I prefer stick just because you can control the RPMs, especially in like a boosted car where you want to, if you want to go a little faster and build up that boost, you kind of want to just control that yourself.
I think I'd like to have all cars go back to manual, just because it would help with a lot less distracted driving. Just from what I've seen is it's hard to drive distracted if you have to have both hands working.
And then there's the feeling you get as you are ripping through the gears trying to get a perfect shift, knowing that you are in complete control of the vehicle. Brandon Dean, Cash Rendezvous.
Kendall, I actually never learned how to drive stick shift.
Really, it's not that difficult. It can just be kind of embarrassing, a little bit stressful if you kill the car at a stoplight and everybody's honking at you. So.
Yeah, stressful but worth it, it sounds like.
Yeah, and, speaking of stress, are you guys stressed for finals week? Ariana Pyper gives you some tips on managing stress.
Do you feel good about everything you care about?
You can find students studying, listening to music, and chatting with their friends in the Taggart Student Center. Students say they are constantly feeling stressed about school.
There's just always so much to do, and even if you try to get ahead, eventually you're going to get behind some way.
For these constant building deadlines right before one after the other, it gets to be overwhelming when you have to schedule out when you're going to do everything.
According to the American Institute of Stress, 8 out of 10 college students experience stress frequently. The question is, what causes this number to be so high?
Coming in as freshmen particularly, students haven't usually had to manage all of their life by themselves. They've had parents to help them with it, or they've had schools to run exactly what their schedule should look like, or things like that.
Sulyn Nelson, a learning specialist at the Academic Success Center, says stress isn't always a negative thing.
Stress can be our friend as long as we manage it and take care of it and don't let it get out of control.
Nelson says, when you get overwhelmed, make a list of what you need to get done.
When you're feeling overwhelmed, all right, if I could only do one thing today, what would it be? And then you either schedule it or do it.
Nelson says that ultimately, students are in control of how they manage their stress.
It is possible to handle the stress and to handle the load, but you have to be willing to try maybe something different than whatever you've tried before.
Ariana Pyper, Cash Rendezvous.
For more information about how to manage stress, the Academic Success Center is located on the 3rd floor of the TSC.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Cash Rendezvous. We'll leave you with some shots of the Christmas parade on Center Street.
Good luck with final, Aggies, and happy holidays.
Merry Christmas!
And as a special treat, at 5 o'clock, the Bluebird Candy Company in a few minutes, and then Santa will...
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?